It's track reviews.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well, and it is time for a track review. The Australian garage punk psych crazy band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They are back with a brand new track. Seems they are going to be making quite a bit of noise in 2019. I'm happy to hear that after the incredible run of records that they dropped not too long ago. Name of the new track over here, Cyboogie. Comes with a music video. We're not going to be checking that out, but we are going to be, checking out this new single over here. I was listening to some Uncle yesterday, as you can kind of see up here in the top. I'm just going to switch off of that and listen to this Cyboogie. Ba-bam. Okay, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Cyboogie. Some thoughts on that track. Interesting cut. Interesting starter to this new album cycle. I have to admit, at first, I was highly skeptical of what direction it was going in because it did sound kind of silly, maybe a little too tongue-in-cheek, and maybe even like a novelty. But the more I listened to it, the more I came to appreciate the weird collection of sounds and influences going into this track. I mean, there is something to it that does feel like a bit like a novelty, or kind of kitschy, like a switched on Bach synth record that's obviously a little cheeky in its presentation and the concept that it's going for. But then at the core of it, it's almost like I'm listening to Daft Punk fused with ZZ Top. You have like these nice swinging, smooth, kind of like blues rock grooves, kind of playing throughout the cut. And on top of that, you just have all of these analog synths and the robotic vocoder vocals and some psychedelic twists and turns and effects that are laced into the production really nicely. It is a long track at almost 7 minutes. But I wouldn't say that I disliked the progression of all of it. It's not a very fast track. It's not a track that's dense with all kinds of crazy changes. It's very mid-paced. It's very easygoing. There was a point at 2 minutes and 47 seconds in or so where I felt like, okay, I feel like I've heard a vast majority of what this song is going to give me. Like, where are we going next? But, the grooves stayed pretty fresh throughout the track, and there was kind of like a nice bridge and transition section of the song that built up really nicely. And I do love those portions of the cut where the band is sort of ascending up these bass lines, these root notes, just kind of like really bringing that tension up before they bust into the next phase of the verse, which was really nice. It's like a really nice transition the band pulled together there. They could have easily just kind of gone straight from that hook right into the next verse, but they came through with a nice, fantastic transition to just kind of like inject more flavor into it, inject more personality into the structure. So, thought it was a pretty good track. Again, skeptical of the aesthetic and sonic direction so far, but honestly and truthfully, if you told me that King Gizzard went into the studio with guns to their heads and somebody saying, "You have to make an electronic, you have to make an electronic record now, go!" Like this is exactly what I would expect them to do, at least from the personality and kind of the character front, because while yes, there are obviously some deeply rooted electronic elements through and through on this track, it's really old school as far as the throwback analog synth sounds. It does sound a little hokey and a little silly and kind of playful and weird, like pretty much all King Gizzard songs do. And there is a strong foundation of surrealism and old school rock and roll thrown in there as well, which again also kind of like consistent tenets of the King Gizzard credo. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a really nice way of the band kind of switching up their sound, doing something different, but not really diverting that hard from the core elements that fans have enjoyed about King Gizzard's music up until this point. Really enjoy the track. Think it's great. Looking forward and hoping that this new record comes through with more tracks like this. And if it does, I wouldn't be surprised, because I mean, King Gizzard is nothing if not consistent and conceptual. I can't imagine they would drop a track like this without sort of thinking about how it's going to work in with the rest of the record, especially with that outro, which sounded like, you know, a weird, demonic, almost godly voice kind of entering the mix, like it's kind of carrying on another piece of an ongoing narrative on a larger LP. You know, to go back to Murder of the Universe, I mean, I like the idea of sort of doing a concept and a story album like that. I think there are some ways that it could have been better executed. But you know, if the band could go back into that direction and, you know, do it in such a way where it's not so overbearing and it's not so, I guess, interruptive as far as like the quality and the enjoyability of the music goes, I mean, why not? So I'm going to leave it at that. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Cyboogie, forever.